listening to WNHHLP 103.5 FM, New Haven's home for community radio. We're broadcasting live from downtown New Haven, and we're streaming live on TuneIn Radio and newhavenindependent.org. We're also streaming live on our Facebook videos, on the New Haven Independent Facebook page, as well as the Fit Muslimah Facebook page. Just go look up Fit Muslimah, FITMUSLIMAH, or New Haven Independent on Facebook, and you can find us live video streaming. But no worries if you can't sit in front of your computer, because you can look up WNHHLP on TuneIn Radio. Welcome. This is Mornings with Mubarakah, where we talk about national issues from a local level through a lens of diversity. It is a beautiful Wednesday. We're going to call it beautiful, even though it was a little bit rainy this morning, a little bit cloudy. But I think that every day that you wake up and you have a reason to smile, it's a beautiful day. Right, Miriam?
Yeah.
I'm doing that. So today we are talking to a young author. I am so happy to have on my show today, Miriam Azeez. Welcome, Miriam. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Miriam is an 11-year-old author from Newtown, Connecticut, and she has written a book called Soulful Sydney Explores Diversity. I want to make sure my Facebook people can see that. No, this way. Yeah. Soulful Sydney Explores Diversity. That is Miriam's new book. Very new, just published, right?
Yeah, and at the end of May, we had it in our head.
At the end of May. So, Miriam, tell me what made you come up with the idea of writing a book?
Well, I didn't sort of come up with the idea. Like, 2 years ago, Terry, the co-author who got the idea of writing this book for her granddaughter Sydney, came to the masjid, and she was actually kind of scared of Muslims a little bit.
Okay.
Because she didn't know them, so she didn't know who they were. But she needed a favor from the mosque. So she contacted my mom, because my mom is the director of the mosque in Newtown. And so they met, and then she met with the kids, and I was part of that group. And so she realized that her fear was completely off. Like, Muslims aren't scary; they're just kids.
And
playing.
how old was Sydney?
I was like 9.
And how old was Sydney?
Sydney, she was I think she's a year old now.
Okay.
Yeah, so she had this idea for a couple of years. She had the co-concept with Christina Connors. She's at the end of the book, so you can see her website and everything. And then she met us, and then after that, 2 years later, she came back to the mosque, and she asked for a favor. She needed help from the mosque with a book for her. Like, she had this idea, and I was just starting to write poetry. I went to this for the past year of that time. I was going to this poetry workshop in Newtown. It's free. It's Carol Ann Davis is the one who started it, and she taught me a lot about poetry. So I started liking poetry a lot. It was my favorite thing to do. And so when she got this, she's like, I want the book to rhyme, though. So it was like a poem and a story.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, maybe I can. I just volunteered. I said, maybe I can help with the writing. And then I started writing the original prose. And then me and Terry, we edited it. And then we fixed it up. And then her sister came was involved with it. And she was a English teacher, so she knows a lot about so she fixed the grammar, the punctuation, made it symmetrical and like perfect now. Because like before, it was not as perfect. There were some edits that needed to be made, and then she did them. And she also so it all just sort of came together.
Awesome. So tell me about the idea of the story. So explain to our listeners what is kind of like an overview of a concept of what happens in the story.
Okay, so the girl in this book, her name's Sydney, and she has a dog, Max. And so she lives in this house, and this Muslim neighbor moves in, and she wears a hijab. So Max doesn't really know who she is. He sees the hijab as something strange. So he sort of embodies the fear inside of everybody, sort of. And he gets scared of her, but Sydney teaches him that her hijab, and Sydney and her teach him that her hijab is not who she is, it's who she is inside of her that matters, not what she wears.
Okay.
So he sort of, and then at the end of the book, he's sitting in her lap and he's sleeping, sort of like a symbol of trust and love. And so it sort of works out in the end.
And how do they go about teaching him that that she's nothing to fear?
She actually Sydney felt after what happened with Mac, she felt like he and her needed to learn more about this. So she asked Miriam to join on a quest to put their theory of acceptance to the test. It's a quote from the book. And so they went and they passed the Field of Forgiveness, the Pondering Pond, the Tranquil Tree, and Camp Chaos at Bellyacres Farm.
Okay.
And then they finally come to a place called Diversity University, where there's people from each faith and each skin. So it's sort of like a place of unity.
Okay.
And there he realizes that, like, just because you're different doesn't mean, well, we're all the same on the inside.
Oh, and you came up with the concept of the story.
No, Terry came up with the concept.
I'm sorry, not the concept. The content that's
Yeah.
inside the book. How long did it take you to write that story?
5 months.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, what was that process like? Did you kind of like have an overview and then went back and fill in? How did that process happen for you?
Well, I sort of took like a couple days to write it, and then the rest of the time we were editing it and then like fixing it up and making new rhymes, taking out lines, putting them back and stuff like that.
Now, so
like edited
does the book
version.
rhyme?
Yeah, the book rhymes. Every like thing
Okay.
is rhyme.
Okay. Awesome. When she asked you to help her write the book, did you have any apprehensions about doing a book?
At first I was like, okay, it's a book, it's gonna be big, but then I was like, maybe I should just try it out because I never really tried doing a book. This is my first book, and I really, really liked writing, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a shot.
Awesome. So, in addition to the book also has a coloring book.
Yeah,
Right?
and it's not the exact book, but it's like stuff about like lessons for the book.
It has a coloring book, and inside the coloring, tell us about the coloring book.
The coloring book is all whited out, so you can color it in, and it's like lessons Sydney learns on her way. Like, there's this one. It's one of my favorites. Let me show you where it is. Here. See, this is my favorite page. Here. A grateful heart is a magnet for miracles, and then there's this one here, and it says humankind, Viva.
I get it. Humankind. It's like it's
humankind and then human and then kind.
Okay, I get it. Yeah,
and then they show the peace sign.
Nice.
That's cool.
Nice. And the concept for the coloring book, was that your idea as well?
No, it was actually Terry's idea, and then she wrote the lessons like love, laugh, love, acceptance, and forgiveness.
Oh.
But she's laughing too, and then it's
Nice.
like Sydney's secret to serenity.
Nice. So I noticed I read through the book right before the show, and I noticed that they actually go into a meditation together.
Yeah.
They are so each one of the Field of Forgiveness, each one of these stopping points for them, was this all a part of their journey? Is this the journey that you think that people need to take in order to embrace diversity?
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about, how do you think because we are in a very turbulent time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you know that. You seem very smart. So how would you advise people to use some of these lessons in what's just in their everyday life?
Well, the sort of there's also a lesson in here about the pondering pond. It's like we don't see things as they are, we see things as we are. So we may not see, like, for example, you wear the hijab. So a person who doesn't know anything about Muslims and just watches news, bad news about Muslims, he'll see you and he'll think something bad about you because that's what he projects who you are. But as he gets to know you, he'll realize that you're something different. You're just normal. You're human. and you don't mean any harm, just like the other 1.8 billion amount of Muslims in the world.
You know, I there's a comedian. It's just a complete side note, and he's like, if he's like, it's he said that it's a good thing that Muslims don't mean people harm because there is 1.8 billion of us in the world. So you are 11 and you wear hijab. How old were you when you started wearing your hijab?
This March, because I wanted to wear it when I was sort of like around 10, but my mom, she's like, you're not safe with the hijab, and that's bad because if I can't wear what's part of me, like I feel like this is part of my identity now. Like I really like it. It's like it's nice, it's comfortable. But if my mom has to be worried about me wearing the hijab in a place where only 1% of the population is Muslims, then that's not good, right? It's not good.
So you didn't wear it at 10?
No, I started wearing it this March.
Okay.
Because I felt like I needed to.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, to show that I'm Muslim and I'm not scared of who I am. I'm Muslim and you can accept it or you can't.
Have you ever had have you ever experienced anything like the story that the book tells?
I didn't really go on a journey.
I mean, like, you know, people being apprehensive about meeting you or having to just show that you're just normal with other kids.
Well, when I was a kid, I actually got bullied because I was Muslim, but it's not only me. It's like many Muslims and people who are different.
When you were a kid?
Yeah.
How old is that?
That's like, that was like 5 because that time I
Okay.
was not homeschooled.
Okay, so you're homeschooled now.
Yeah.
And so you were not homeschooled from what age? What age did you start being homeschooled?
When I was 6.
When you were 6. Okay, so you went to, was that just kindergarten?
No.
Kindergarten, you went
yeah.
to public school. And then first grade, you started being homeschooled.
Yeah.
Okay.
At first grade, I did in the summer because it was like I sort of bored in the class in kindergarten too.
Okay.
Like they weren't teaching that much. So my mom just taught me over the summer, first grade. And then we went to second grade the next year.
Okay. All right. And so how were you bullied in kindergarten?
Well, a kid on the bus told me he was going to take a knife and kill me. So, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How old was this kid?
I don't know. I think first grade or second grade. I'm not sure.
He was first or second grade telling a kindergartner that he was really. Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's disturbing.
Yeah. But it's not just me. It's many Muslims. And it's not only Muslims, too. It's the vulnerable people like Blacks, Hispanics, Jewish. They're all being threatened, too. They've been bullied and they've also been threatened. It's like not sort of fair. If you're not this type of look, then you're different and you're like a target. You become a target. But it shouldn't be that way. It should be like if you're different, you're special, you're unique.
I like
think of that.
Awesome.
Okay.
If you're just tuning in, you're listening to WNHHLP 103.5 FM, New Haven's home for community radio. This is Mornings with Mubarakah, and we are talking to young author Miriam Azeez, who is the author of Soulful Sydney Explores Diversity. She is an 11-year-old author, which is quite impressive, especially for one who still has to get her book to the publisher. Awesome. So tell me a little bit about how you decided to launch the book. So you just had a launch party, right?
July 15th.
Yes. Tell me about that.
Well, it was good. It was great because Senator Blumenthal came and he also did a little speech because he had to go. He had something else to do. And the authors spoke, and then Christina Connors, the co-concept creator, she sang. And because she's a singer, she's a really good singer.
Wow.
She sang the theme song. We have a theme song.
Oh, you have a theme song too?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you sing?
No. Well, yeah, I sort of do, but I didn't sing that song.
Okay.
And then
do you want to give us a taste of the theme song?
I don't really know the words.
Okay.
All
right. No problem.
I could have done it before I came here, but I forgot to.
Okay.
There's also there was a song at the end. It was "We Can Be Kind."
Okay.
And the kids, there's actually I forgot to tell you that in the back of the book, since it's not just about Muslims that are being discriminated against, there's a person of each faith.
Ah, okay.
So as you can see here, there's a Muslim, a Catholic, a Lutheran, a Jewish, a Baha'i, a Taoist, a Hindu, a Zen Buddhist, and a Zen Buddhist.
Okay.
And they're all at different ages, and they talk about their religion and what it's like to be part of that religion.
So are these
And they're actually real kids, like
That's what I was getting ready to ask. Are these all real kids? Are these all real kids that you
Yeah.
know?
No, one of them lives in Florida, the other lives in Hawaii. Like,
How did you collect their stories?
well, Terry called in with like some churches and like places of worship, and she asked if we can take a picture of a kid from there, and then and ask them to write something about their religion, and then Tian can animate the kids, and so yeah, so it just happened. People all over, they decided to do this.
Oh, yeah. Wow. That is quite impressive. That is quite impressive indeed. So when it comes to, so tell me, you're homeschooled. Um, do you get an opportunity to interact with people of different faiths and nationalities and things like that? And
well, my mom, she's part of this interfaith, the Newtown Interfaith Association. Like after the Sandy Hook shooting, my mom, she there was this vigil, and there was people like people that represented each faith, and they were there, but there was not a Muslim person, and I think she just got in contact with them and got involved, and she and the mosque, the Newtown Mosque, have ever since then, like 6 years or 7 years, they've been in contact with them, and they've been doing a lot of interfaith. We went to
it's okay.
we went to that's the theme song.
Okay.
We went to different places of worship, and we learned about them, and we talked to them, and my mom, she talked to them. And so I've been to a Hindu temple. There's these 3 churches in Newtown. We go to them like more often because that's where they hold the stuff, like from different faiths and stuff. And then there's we went to a Jewish place, a Jewish synagogue in Danbury, and my mom has been to many synagogues in Newtown, in Danbury, and she also went places like sometimes, like, because this started when I was a kid, so I didn't always go with her. Okay. But my brother used to go with her too, like to these interfaith things. So I don't know really how many places she went, but there's like a lot of places that we go to.
Okay, so you really do get a chance to really interact with diversity in your community. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about your experience going from being in public school where you were bullied to being homeschooled. How was that transition for you, or do you remember that transition?
Well, my brother was also bullied in school, so my mom, she homeschooled him. And then after she homeschooled me, my other 2 brothers were like, yeah, we'll get homeschooled too.
They wanted to be homeschooled?
Yeah, because like they did everything my brother did. So,
are they older or younger than you?
All my brothers are older than me. Okay. There's Muad, he's 17. And then my other 2 brothers, Adam and Ibrahim, they're 14. They're twins.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then there's me, Miriam.
Okay.
So, we just got homeschooled. We just got homeschooled, and then after that, many different parents, they were like, we need to homeschool our kids too. So they just did a small little co-op thing at not a homeschool, sort of like it's not a school. It was sort of like a parents just taking care of kids. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So everybody gets together and helps teach everybody else's kids. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Do you have lots of friends in the co-op?
Yeah, most of my friends, they were in the
they're all homeschooled?
Yeah, but like sort of like after, like between middle school and high school, that's where like people go back to school.
Okay.
But I stayed homeschooled. So now I do it at my home instead because my mom can teach me and my dad too.
And you are going so you just turned 12, right? Mm-hmm. and you're going into 8th grade.
Yeah, I skipped grade.
Awesome. And so what do you want to do after you're done with school? Because I'm just gonna wildly guess that it will probably take you less than 4 years to finish that. Do you know if you want to go to college? Do you want to be a writer when you grow up?
I want writing to be, if it's not my hobby, then it'll be my work.
Okay.
Otherwise, I want to do something like be a doctor.
Okay.
Like a pediatrician or something.
Oh, okay. Now you mentioned that you do poetry.
Yeah.
And where do you write poetry? Do you have a poetry book or do you perform poetry?
No, I just write it sort of. They're not published or anything. They're just like little pieces I write from my mind.
Okay.
And I have 2 little books that my mom, well, actually my mom got me a lot more books, but 2 of them are already filled.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, do you ever get to perform your poetry?
Not really.
Do you do the workshop? Tell me about the workshop that you were taking to help you write poetry.
Well, my mom and my brothers and me, we all went there, and it was actually really nice. Like, there was a lot of kids and their parents, and she would give us...
Question. Was it a workshop for adults or kids or both?
Both.
Okay.
So she would teach us about the types of poems and the rhythm and how to do the rhythm and how to make it like easier to do, like to write poetry. And then we would write like types of poems based on like a sorry not sorry poem. So it would show how sorry I am, and then the next part would be like, but it would be like describing what you did.
Okay.
As sort of in a good way, like, I am so not sorry that I did it. I don't regret it.
Wow,
So,
okay.
yeah, it's a fun poem. And then there's limerics and other types of poems. There's so many different types of poems. And then, but my favorite one of them was like when she taught us how to write the poems, where it was like, I am something, and then I am something, I am something. But it's not about us. It's like sort of like, I am the dew on a blade of grass in the morning. I am a horse galloping through the wind. So it's sort of like that.
Okay.
But it rhymes.
Okay.
And then it's like a long type of poem, and those are my favorite. But like, there was like a lot of people there, and sometimes like there was once where she asked us all to write a poem, and then she asked us all to perform it in front of that audience. It was not a big audience, but it was like sort of type of audience. That was like one of the only times I performed my poetry.
Do you enjoy performing?
Yeah, it's sort of nice.
Sort of?
But
Yeah.
I perform to like my family if it's not there.
Okay. All right. Now, because you're homeschooled, do you do like activities with your brothers? I know they're older than you, but what is your homeschool day like?
Sort of like, well, you sort of have to work harder than what you do in school, because that's the whole point of homeschool, right? And so,
Is it?
yeah.
Okay. I'll take your word for
it. Yeah. We just get up and then we do whatever. I think we sometimes we do subjects at a time, sort of like for this day or for this half of the day. You'll do this subject, and for the next half of the day, we'll do this subject, because doing subjects like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in one day, and each one is 45 minutes, you don't get to learn that much.
Okay.
You sort of like don't enforce it that much. So by doing it half day or doing the subject, or half day doing that subject, or just even one day just doing the subject, you get to do more, and it gets to get in your blood, sort of.
Okay. All right. And what's your favorite subject?
Reading.
Reading?
Yeah. With like the dictionary, and you get vocabs like from classics, and you can get the vocabs, and you search up the meanings, and then you have to revise. I mean, you have to like look up those meanings and try to memorize them or get them into your head. So like sort of like a vocab thing.
Oh, okay. And
but
so
I like the reading part more.
What are you reading now?
I'm reading this book called Prince Otto. It's by Robert Louis Stevenson. He's the guy who wrote Treasure Island.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so it's a good book.
And what is it about?
It's about political romance.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. But she's 12. I'm feeling inadequate right now. That's great. Awesome. Tell me, so let's talk a little bit about what is the plans for your book. First, where is it being sold right now?
You can buy it on Amazon and Kindle, and there's also soulfulsydney.com.
Okay.
It's just soulful and then Sydney with a Y.
Okay.
And you can go there and you can look at the site and stuff. And then there's these little cards. You can get in touch, soulfulsydneyinfo@gmail.com.
Okay. So that's where people can purchase the book.
Yeah, that's where if they ask questions and stuff, they can ask questions. So this is Gmail, and then we'll get back to you and we'll answer your questions. Here on Amazon and Kindle, you can buy the book.
Okay.
I think on Amazon it's $12.95, and on Kindle it's $4.95.
And is the coloring book and the book separate, or do they come together?
They're all separate.
Okay.
Unless you order them together.
Do you have any plans for other book signings or events?
I think I think we have one at the Toy Tree, right? Yeah, Toy Tree in Newtown.
Okay.
It's like in like the Newtown, the heart of Newtown, sort of.
Okay.
It's next to CVS Pharmacy and Dunkin' Donuts.
Now, I saw that you did something with the library. Was that the one where Senator Blumenthal came?
No, we did it. Senator Blumenthal came in the launch party at Edmond Town Hall in Newtown.
All right.
But the library in Norwalk, the Norwalk Public Library, we did the Goodnight series Goodnight Neighbor series where you read the book.
Okay.
Based on the political timing and like if this book is relevant for the political timing, then they'll read the book and like they'll have people like activists read the book. But they just said because like they liked how I was 11-year-old and I wrote the book, so they asked me to read the book instead.
Oh, awesome. Now, you do have an event coming up in October. Exciting.
Yeah.
In DC. Tell us about that.
Well, October is the Global Diversity Month, so we'll be going to DC to meet Senator Blumenthal and the senators, and I think and all the kids are at the back of the book. I think they're going to be there too if they can make it. Okay. Like, cuz since some of them they're sort of live far, maybe they'll make it, maybe they're not. I don't know.
Okay.
And so yeah,
and that will be the first time you actually meet them in person if they all come.
Yeah.
Awesome.
No, it's not the first time because some of the kids, the ones that live near,
okay,
I already met them at the launch party.
Oh, awesome.
I met two, the Baha'i and the Jewish one.
Okay.
I didn't meet the rest.
Okay, all right. So it is now. What is the event that you'll be going to in DC? It's going to be Global Diversity Month. You're going to go meet Senator Blumenthal in Washington
and the
DC,
other senators,
and the other senators,
yeah.
like.
And we're gonna talk about the book and why it's important at this time, and it's how it's timely relevant.
Okay. Now, is this a specific event, or are you just going, or your team? I'm gonna call them your team, or is your team going?
I think the team will be going, or I think I'm not sure. Maybe it's planned or not yet. I don't know. I think it's planned, and then we'll be going. As a team.
So you'll meet other young people there?
We'll meet the senators and the important people of the Senate House.
Okay, awesome. And are you excited about that?
Yeah.
What is the message that you hope that your book get across to people?
Just because you're different doesn't really mean that you shouldn't be accepted.
What's the message that you hope that gets across to the political representatives that you're going to meet?
Well, it's a sort of the same thing. I want people to know, and it's like not a special, different type of message. Like if you're different, then that's what makes you special. It makes you unique. It makes you important. Yeah, like because there's no one that's the same as you, right? There's not another me around. There's not another you around. So that makes us all that makes us all each very special. Mm-hmm. Like we only got one of us.
I like that. I like that. When we talk about all of the things that's happening in the news and it's happening politically, and how it. So first, let me ask: do you watch the news?
Sort of like when my mom, she sees the news on Facebook and she shows it to me.
Okay, all right. So sort of, kind of.
Yeah.
So and when you watch the news and you see everything that's going on in the world, how does that make you feel as just like a kid growing up?
It makes me feel insecure. Like, if there's that many people, if there's important people saying that Muslims are bad, then how will that affect the people that follow them? Will they come and hurt the mosque? Will they come and hurt me because I wear hijab? That makes me feel like I'm not safe anymore.
Mm,
And it also makes me feel bad because it's not fair, sort of. Like, America is supposed to be the melting pot. It's supposed to be a place where everybody can be like together. It could be it's like one of the most diverse places on the entire earth. And then we're talking about like taking people back to where they are from. Well, the people, they're escaping wars, they're escaping death, and then they see America as their last hope. And then as soon as they come, their families are separated, and then they're sent back because they're banned. Well, because technically they're banned from coming to America. So it's like it's sort of like it's sad because the families are separated. They don't even get to see each other, and then they might not ever be able to see them again.
mm,
So I'm lucky because I'm from Jordan. My mom's from Jordan, so I can at least see my grandma once every year or 2 years, and I can also like FaceTime her, ask her how she's doing. So I'm lucky I'm from Jordan, but there's not everybody's from Jordan, right?
mm.
There's other people from different countries and they need to come to America because their families are separated, but they can't see them. And then it's just a huge horrible thing.
Mm, mm. And so when you that was very well put, by the
Thank you.
way. When you see all of this stuff that's happening, if you could, when you talk to Senator Blumenthal and you talk to people in the Senate, what are some of the things that you think as a kid that can help us become a better America that accepts the diversity?
Well, we should protect the people that are being bullied against and threatened. Their lives are hanging on a thread because they're being threatened, right? So we should have laws that should protect them because sometimes people who get bullied, they'll go to the school and they'll ask them to help, but the school won't do anything. Maybe because for example, I'm not saying this happened or anything. I'm just saying an example. For example, a superintendent might be racist, or maybe they don't want to interfere because the people who are being bullied are extremely rich and their funding and their taxes are helping fund the school. So maybe they don't want to interfere because then that would stop the taxes coming.
Mm.
Or maybe they just don't want to intervene because they have so many other things to do. So that's still that's not going to stop then. It's not going to stop there. There's going to be more people coming to bully these people, and it's not because they're it's not because how it's not because like how they are. It's because what they look like, and that shouldn't be the way. It should be like we all bleed red, right?
Mm.
Doesn't matter our skin, we all bleed red. We're all the same.
What are some of the suggestions that you think that everyday people can do in order to embrace diversity more, and just the people that walk down the street or your neighbors, or what are some of the suggestions that you have for everyday people?
If they are scared, they should go to a Muslim or go to the nearby mosque. They should, or not even just Muslims. Like, if they're scared of Jewish people, if they're scared of Hispanic people, they should go to places where they can meet people and then they can ask them questions because we're not afraid to answer your questions. Like, some people, they feel embarrassed to ask questions, and that's why they still have that fear. But if you ask questions, we'll give you answers, and those answers won't be like bad answers. They'll be like answers that you're looking for. So, because most people feel scared to if they get the wrong answer, then people will be bad to them. Like, sort of, it's sort of like they don't want to ask questions because they're too embarrassed to ask, or
Mhm.
like they're too scared that they'll get denied of the right of getting an answer. But we just want to answer your questions. If you have any questions, you can answer. You can depend on us to answer them.
So, do you think that fear comes from not knowing?
Yeah, ill-informed
Ill-
people
Okay.
are the most fearful.
Okay. Awesome. The when when you set out for this quest to write this book and to encourage people to explore diversity, what was your favorite part of that process?
My favorite part was editing it and exchanging emails over the blizzards, and my favorite part was actually writing it. Like most satisfying part though was after Tion colorized them and computerized them to make them look like what they were. Terry would send me the emails of the pictures, and that was sort of satisfying because I looked at the pictures and they just look so beautiful.
And it was like making
It was
your
like,
words come to actually visualize.
yeah,
Oh, awesome. So that was the most satisfying.
yeah. But my
Awesome.
favorite part was writing
Okay, favorite part was writing the most satisfying part. That's a very good distinction.
it.
So what do you hope? What is your biggest hope for your book?
My biggest hope is that it can reach everywhere and in the world. And I also think that it should go everywhere in the U.S. more importantly, since it's the most diverse and the most with problems as of now with people that are different. So I want it to go everywhere, and I want people to say, well, this should be happening. There should be a place where America should be the place. America should be diversity university. It should be where people feel welcome, different people. And so I want people to start talking about this and getting it to important people in their communities and start making it true. It's not just an animation anymore, it's real life.
Very nice.
Thank you.
We have the song. Okay, so can we, Harry? What's the best way to play the song? Just hold it up to the microphone. So, Soulful Sydney has a theme song.
Yeah.
So, what we'll do is we have about 5 more minutes of the show. How about we exit on a theme song, Harry? Yeah, okay. So we'll exit on the theme song. So tell me, so you hope that your book definitely is able to reach all over the United States. Would you like to go with the book? Do you like to travel?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You're obviously a very good at expressing everything that the book is about. So I know you will have no problem talking about it. That's awesome. The where are some of the places that you think that it's needed the most? What circles do you think that it's needed the most? Did you think that it possibly be hard, but you feel like that the book should go to?
I think it should go to important people who can actually change these laws, like the Supreme Court or like different parts of the justice system where they'll see this as an act of justice, and they'll take it in, and I hope that they'll take it in and try to change laws.
Have you thought about seeing if you could send a copy to the Supreme Justices?
I didn't think of that yet, but I'm going to.
Awesome. That would be a nice gift for them, right?
Yeah.
Like, you have a gift for Miriam.
Yeah.
I am sure that Ruth Ginsburg would love it. And the other justices as well. So hint, hint, justices, if this gets to you. you okay, so you sent it to Trump?
Yeah.
Okay, you sent it as oh really?
Mhm.
Yeah. Awesome. It was that one. Who else have you sent it to? Was that one of your first sends?
Yeah. And then we've also sent one to Ellen DeGeneres.
Really?
Yeah.
awesome.
And I think we also sent one to Oprah Winfrey. I'm not sure
Okay.
yet. I'm not sure of whether we sent it to Oprah, but we sent it to a lot of important people.
Okay, so you sent it to Trump. You sent it to Ellen.
Mhm.
You sent it to who else?
We also sent it to. I think we sent one to. Yeah, we sent it to schools, and
Okay.
we also sent it to. I think we sent it to different senators or members of the Congress,
Okay, awesome.
congressmen and women.
Awesome. So you're really about getting this message out there.
Yeah.
That is awesome. So we only have a couple of minutes left to the show. What is the one thing? First, I want to remind people a couple of things. You can buy Soulful Sydney Explores Diversity by Miriam Azeez on Amazon.com. You can get it in a Kindle form as well, or you can go to Soulful Sydney. Is it soulfulsydney.com?
Mhm.
Soulfulsydney.com. SOULFULSYDNEY.com. You can also email them with any questions or requests. So if you are a teacher and you need a whole bunch for your school library, you can actually email soulfulsydneyinfo@gmail.com. If you are a librarian and you want to fill your library with these, then that is also how you can get in touch with them in order to get it. Will we see it in Barnes & Noble anytime soon?
I think so. We're trying to get it to them and
Okay.
trying to see if they agreed or not.
Okay, all right. So we're trying to get them in Barnes & Noble. Maybe what we can do is we can all just call Barnes & Noble and be like, do you have Soulful Sydney? And then they're going to be like, we got 50 phone calls from people wanting this book. How can we get this book? So you got to kind of create your own buzz. So thank you so much, Miriam, for coming to talk to me. I really, really enjoyed this. And thank you, everyone, for listening. You've been listening to Mornings with Mubarakah on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We are going to exit the show today with the Soulful Sydney theme song. So we got a book, we got a coloring book, and we got a theme song. How about that? So I remind you today, as I do every week, go about your week to be a voice and not an echo.
Soulful forest, that's where you will find the answers to so many questions floating around your mind. For in the soulful forest, there's so much to see and do. But best of all, in the soulful forest, you'll discover you. Climb the tranquil tree with me, that's where new friendships start. Spend time at Camp Kindness and you'll open up your heart. Mindful mountains where you'll learn today's the best by far. Reflect on the reflecting pond and you'll learn who you are. In the tranquil tree you'll discover home sweet home. That's where the tweethearts welcome you so you won't be alone. And if you find you're mad or sad or someone's left you flat, the field of forgiveness will help you take care of that. So fly with me to the soulful forest where there's sure to be lots of songs and stories, safety and serenity. The soulful forest is a place where all your dreams come true. And best of all, you'll find your